Thanks for checking out this training video from Essentials of Athletics Training Center, and don't forget to check out our Fitness Essentials podcast on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and most other great podcast platforms. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. I'm Ror Alexander for Fitness Essentials Training Center. Now, when it comes to building muscle, there is a lot of theories on ways to do it. But in this video, I'm going to show you both how to simplify it, while at the same time show you that it's not just one way or the other, but a combination of many methods. And by the end of this two-part video series, I can promise that your weight training workouts are going to be so much better. Now, if this sounds good to you, please remember to quickly hit that big red subscribe button, and also make sure to hit that little notification bell so you always get notified of our videos the moment that they come out. Getting back to building muscle, I'm going to make it as simple as possible and then give you some advice on how you should be training in the gym. Remember, this is a two-part series. But to make a long story short, there are 4 ways to build muscle, and at the end I'll also cover the secret 5th way. So let's get right to it and see how to do all of them properly in your training. The first way is what is called mechanical tension, which is just a fancy term for going heavy. Now, a lot of people don't really know what heavy is, and this is also very stereotypically yet a common mistake by women, but many men, particularly over 40 crowd, do it a lot as well. Going heavy literally means just that, using weights that are about 85 to 90% of your 1 rep max. So these will be sets of 3 reps, maybe up to 5. And it's a weight that most casual gym goers just don't really do at all, or they don't do properly. When doing sets of 3, 4, or 5, those last 1 or 2 reps should be very difficult. And if you're doing, let's say, 4 sets of these, then that 3rd and 4th set should be really hard to reach that final rep. And you'll really need to push with all you have for that final rep. And now, while you don't want to plan on missing that last rep, I'd say that by the 5th set of 5, you should be probably really only reaching 4 reps or have the need of a spotter to help you hit that final rep. These sets are going to require all your focus. So if you feel like you could have done 5, 6, or even more reps in these sets, then that is just not heavy enough. So plan to use a spotter, or at least have some safety spotter bars in place. Next, we have mechanical stress, or to put it in regular people's terms, going for the pump. Now, these sets will use reps from anywhere from 8 even up to 15 or 20 reps, but I'd probably stick with the more common 8 to 15 reps in general. By using metabolic stress, you are performing what is called time under tension in a chosen exercise, just meaning you're keeping a load on the working muscles for a lengthy amount of time. And time under tension is a powerful tool for muscle growth, as it literally places extra effort on the muscles for longer than the 3 to 5 reps from method 1. For example, 3 reps, even quite heavy, doesn't take that very long, maybe 15 to 20 seconds, while time under tension can make a set last much longer, maybe even up to and sometimes over a minute. This also pumps a lot of blood into the working muscles, and blood carries nutrients and also affects the muscle cells differently than the heavy training, but I'll save that topic for another video. When going for metabolic stress, you really want to keep pumping those muscles until they get nice and full of blood. And you really want to start to feel that burn, and then toss in a couple more for good measure, even if you have to feel the need to add in a tiny bit of form cheating. For the most part, you should be able to do this within 12 reps, but if you can, push for those extra couple reps with a little bit of good old body English. And always though, make sure to give a good squeeze at the top of each and every rep. The third way is going for what is called muscular damage. And this is a key to growing muscle. Now, while creating damage may sound like a bad thing, in the case of muscle growth, it is a requirement so that the amino acids from adequate protein, which is about 1 gram per lean body weight, can both repair and aid the muscle fibers in growth. There are a couple ways that you can ensure muscular damage, and the first way is by slowing down your lifting during the eccentric portion of any given exercise. This is the part where you are fighting gravity's descent. For example, in a bicep curl, this is where you are lowering the weight back down. Now, you could just as easily let gravity do its job and just let the weights fall down. but by slowing this lowering or eccentric phase of the lift, you are adding extra tension to the muscle, which also adds extra muscular damage. Another way is to change up exercises and ensure new movements, ranges of motions, and novel stimuli to muscles. However, don't get this confused with that made-up term muscle confusion. And one of the biggest mistakes is people trying to change exercises dramatically every workout. In fact, for the most part, you only need small changes, like changing a bench press for an incline press or changing a barbell to some dumbbells. Saying this, there may come a time when you want to add some additional variations, such as strongman lifts or what I call forgotten lifts. But these, for the most part, are very few and far between. So don't get caught up in that whole every workout has to be very different. Yes, nearly every workout has to have an element of progressive overload or more challenging application to the muscles. But constantly changing exercises drastically will actually not benefit you much at all and can lead you to actually getting nowhere very quickly. Now, this fourth method is something that people don't talk about a lot, and I never see it done in the gym. And to be honest, it's still a little bit under the microscope. And I definitely do not want you to do this as your main method or even in your top 3 muscle building techniques, as the ones I discussed already are pretty much proven. But another interesting technique is what's referred to as resisted stretching, or again, to put it simply, holding the deepest stretch possible with ample resistance for a relatively long time, usually at least 30 seconds and up to 1 minute. The theory is that this results in what is called muscular hyperplasia, which is most likely to result when a muscle is subject to both a significant mechanical strain with a lengthy period of high tension. However, it should also be noted that this technique seems to work best once the muscle has received a significant pump. And some people suggest doing this in the middle of a longer set, while some others I've heard prefer you to do it after, at the end of your final 1 or 2 sets. Now, I've tried both, and I prefer the after sets better, but people have been known to do both with results. And finally, we get to secret method number 5. And this isn't so much a method, but it's more of a skill that you need to develop in weight training. And that is the need to always incorporate visualization. One of the ways visualization can help you is by really forcing you to be in the here and now and be mindful of the training. And it really helps to create that mind-muscle connection that is so very important in weight training. One of the biggest proponents of visualization is Arnold Schwarzenegger, who has said, while you're doing an exercise, if you concentrate and visualize your muscles growing while commanding and demanding them to grow, the results will come much faster. And interestingly, a number of studies have shown that just thinking about muscles getting bigger can actually make them grow, to a very small point, of course. So don't think you just can sit at home and just think about coming to the gym. The way I suggest to use visualization is to imagine the blood running into the muscles and those fibers tearing. For example, on curls, imagine those arms being like a fire truck's hose and really mentally seeing the blood rushing in and swelling those arms, and visualize them as going to explode. Visualize them as something like mountain peaks. So is there something in our brains that can make us gain muscle or lose weight just by thinking about exercise? Yeah, there's probably a good chance there is. Is it because it forces us to be in the moment and really focused on the exercise at hand? That is definitely. But whatever it is, just think great thoughts and keep those muscles in mind while you're training. Well, that's the end of part 1. And in part 2, I'm going to go over how to add all of this into your training program. So make sure to watch out for part 2 on this channel. And remember, if you still haven't both clicked that big red subscribe button and notification bell, do it now. As I said, we're always doing our best to bring you the easiest and usable health, fitness, and wellness content possible. Now, if you didn't know, you can also follow our audio Fitness Essentials podcast on Apple, Spotify, and most other podcast platforms, where we give you some great training, wellness, and health advice, as well as hosting very unique guests in the areas of fitness, athletics, professional sports, and general health, with guests from all over the world. And finally, if you want some help on your own fitness journey, we also offer in-gym, online, and hybrid coaching program options. And you can get more info on this by messaging us through our website at www.essentialsofathletics.com, and you can see that link in the show notes below. And until next time, stay strong and stay healthy.